Hi, I'm glad to see you. My name is Linda with the Red Rat Reader program, and you, I imagine, are looking for someone to teach you how to teach your child to read. You've come to the right place. You can teach your beginning or struggling reader how to read with the Red Rat program. In an explicit, systematic way based upon the science of reading, this video teaches you how to teach your child to read. Red Rat Reader is a self-contained program. Everything you need to know is in this video. Everything you need to buy costs $60, and everything else you need is on the internet. You will be empowered to teach your beginning reader or struggling reader how to read. You will know what you are doing. The key to learning to read, science has found, is understanding that writing is a code. Letters are symbols. Each letter stands for a sound. When you translate the symbols into sounds by pronouncing each letter from left to right, you're reading. To put it another way, a long time ago, people invented writing. Writing is a code, that is, marks on paper called letters stand for sounds. When you write, you encode voice sounds into letters. That is, you convert sounds into letters written from left to right. When you read, you decode or sound out the letters. That is, you turn the letters back into sounds made with your voice. Now, suppose I want to warn the red rat that there is a cat in the vicinity without holding up the actual cat to show him. I can use a symbol for the physical cat, the spoken word cat. However, the spoken symbol requires that the rat be present to hear it. What if I leave before the rat appears? The spoken word cat will not be there when he arrives, no matter how many times I say it. I need to change the spoken word cat into something permanent that I can leave for the rat. I need to change it into code. I know that letter C is the symbol for the sound K. The symbol for the short sound A, is letter A, and the symbol for the sound T is letter T. I encode the spoken word into the letter C, A, T on a piece of paper, and I leave. When the rat arrives, he sees the symbol C, A, T. He knows that C is the symbol for the sound K, A is the symbol for the sound A, and T is the symbol for the sound T. He decodes the symbols back into their sounds. K, A, T, cat. He hears the word cat, the spoken symbol for his sworn enemy. He runs away. And there you have the point of reading. If your child doesn't know the code and can't remember the shapes of the letters, she cannot do this. A student who resists reading is afraid of failure. Her social standing, the respect of her teachers, the pride of her parents, all depend upon her ability to read. If she doesn't understand the code of reading, or she can't remember the shapes of the symbols, she's stepping off a cliff blindfolded every time she reads aloud. To sidestep that outcome, Red Rat Reader starts at the absolute beginning, assuming that your student knows absolutely nothing of the code of reading, which is often the case. This program gives all students, from first-time learners to struggling readers, the tools to decode letters into sounds before they are asked to read. They are prepared, they know what they're doing, because they understand the rules are easier to remember. They are ready for the complex task of putting it all together and reading. This program does not purport to teach your 3-year-old how to read in 2 weeks. The process takes as long as it takes. It is important to ensure that your child feels confident in her mastery of each step before you move on to the next step. In Red Rat Reader, when your child is asked to read, which is a complex process, she already knows how to decode or sound out words. Reading with comprehension develops as your child masters decoding and has the mental bandwidth for an additional thinking task. There are 5 tools required for this program. Access to the Literacy How phoneme articulation video, to which there is a link in this video. Phoneme articulating means distinctly pronouncing the smallest sounds of speech. Writing materials is the second thing you need to practice writing letters with the bubble and stick method. Red Rat's Book of Vowels and Consonants is the third thing that you need. It's $12.50. The Blah 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 card game by Mrs. Wordsmith, which is $30 on Amazon. And Stories of the Red Rat and the Red Hen, Volume 1, which is about $11. This program consists of 6 essential activities that you want to do daily for a total of about an hour if you can. First, you and your student watch the Literacy How phoneme articulation video and study the sound library daily. You and your student number 2 practice and identify the sounds of the long and short vowels daily. Number 3, you and your student practice bubble and stick letter writing daily. Number 4, you read aloud several times stories in the Red Rat's Book of Vowels and Consonants, which explain how vowels work to your student. Number 5, you and your student progressively play the Blah 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 card game by Mrs. Wordsmith daily once you've gotten to that step. And number 6, after mastery of the previous activities, your student reads Volume 1 of the Red Rat and the Red Hen with you daily, and then you move on from there. All activities need to be done by you and your student together. There is no desk work. You model everything. You are the teacher. No worksheet can replace your interest and your example. When you begin the program, explain to your student what it is about. We are going to begin Red Rat Reader, which is a fun program to teach you how to read easily and well. It is all about the code of reading and writing. A long time ago, people invented writing. Writing is a code in which marks on paper, known as letters, stand for sounds. When you write, you turn your voice sounds into code marks, which are letters on paper. When you read, you decode the letters. You turn the letters back into sounds with your voice. Each letter is a symbol, which means that it stands for something else. In this case, it stands for a certain sound. You will learn to write letters the code way, and you will learn to decode writing by saying the sounds of the letters from left to right. That is called reading. We will start with 3 activities: watching a video of letter sounds many times, learning vowel sounds, and learning how to write letters the code way. The concepts of encoding and decoding are complex, so take time to discuss simple codes, the idea of symbols, and so on with your student until she understands. Here is in detail how to do the 6 activities of the Red Rat Reader. Activity 1 is the phoneme articulation videos. Every day, twice, starting today, you and your student watch the Literacy How phoneme articulation video together. You both say everything the presenter says. This should be continued even after you can both flawlessly speak in chorus with the presenter. At that time, incorporate writing the letters with your finger in the air while saying the phonemes. Here's a question: what is a phoneme? The word phoneme, spelled P-H-O-N-E-M-E, comes from Greek for sound made by a person. Phonemes are the atoms of language, the smallest vocal piece. A phoneme is like a single Lego block. It is a sound that can be made smaller, like k or p or a. There are 44 phonemes in the English language. Every word that exists is made from a selection of these 44 sounds. There are more than 26 letters in the more than the 26 letters of the alphabet, because vowels each represent 2 phonemes, and some combinations such as TH and OI stand for additional phonemes. A letter is a symbol that says, say this phoneme. The next letter is a symbol that says, say this phoneme. When you say them in order, you have said a word. When you glue phonemes together from left to right with your voice, you are reading. Listen carefully to ensure that you and your student are mimicking the phoneme articulation video presenter exactly. Precise articulation of phonemes is important. For a closer, slower look at individual phonemes being pronounced, study the Voyager-Sopris Sound Library, which is in the links with your student. Note the shape of the presenter's mouth saying each phoneme. Feel and watch the shape of your own mouth. Focus on what your lips, tongue, and throat feel like. Notice buzzing, air movement, your tongue touching teeth, etc. Associate those feelings with the phoneme. Familiarity with the mouth and lip feelings associated with the phoneme helps your student recognize the phoneme within a word. So, to answer the question, why is it necessary to pay attention to mouthfeel and lip movement when vocalizing phonemes? The reason is that some students cannot separate a word's phonemes by sound alone. The T, A, and P in tap, for example, are not discernible to their ears separately. They just hear tap. Feeling and seeing their lips and tongue move when they advance from one phoneme to the next in a word can help them identify and separate phonemes. Have your student watch her mouth in a mirror while pronouncing phonemes. Have her place her hand over her lips to feel them change shape. Covering her ears with her hands or touching her throat can help her feel the vibration of certain consonants. Have fun. Invent consonant phoneme percussion songs. Ch, ch, t, t. On and on. Bang on things with sticks, yell out consonant sounds. Use your imagination. Okay, activity 2 is vowel sounds. Rehearse the long and short vowel sounds, introducing new pair at a time in the order A, E, I, O, U. Work this in throughout the day, every day. Long and short vowels are pronounced as follows. Long A as in rate, short A as in rat, long E as in Pete, short E as in pet, long I as in bite, short I as in bit, long O as in tote, short I as in tot, long U as in cute, short U as in cut. Do not necessarily say short U as in cut. What you want to do is associate the vowel sound with the letter. Short U says Rehearse the sounds of long and short vowels until your student can identify each vowel by sound alone, such as short E, and short U. And in a spoken single syllable word like, what vowel do you hear in hug? Short U. Make up vowel phoneme nonsense songs. Sing and dance. What is a syllable? A syllable is part of a word that you can breathe after saying. One-syllable words are, for example, bit and bet. A word with two syllables is bitter. Bit, breathe in, ter, breathe out. You can sing or hum the word to hear the syllables, bitter. Or you can put your hand under your chin to feel it drop once for each syllable, bitter. Okay, activity 3 is bubble and stick letters. Every day practice writing the lowercase alphabet with the bubble and stick method. Ignore uppercase letters for now, they are uncommon. Bubble and stick letters are written from left to right. You start with the left word or upper end of the letter. For instance, you draw the bubble of the A first, and then the short stick, which is to the left. Draw the to the right, sorry. Draw the cross of the T from left to right, and then, when writing L, start at the top and go down. When you are drawing or shaping a letter, say the name of the letter, the bubble and stick pattern, bubble and stick, and then the sound that the letter makes. Bubble and stick letters are important to write in the right way. So you want to lift your pencil between lines of the letters. For instance, you write the short stick of the N, then lift your pencil and start the hump as a new line. When the bubble and stick code description says then, lift your pencil. This sequence imprints the exact shapes of the letters going from left to right. Be precise when forming their shapes as you are when saying their sounds. Workbooks and tracing are counterproductive. There is no need to use line paper. As familiarity with the bubble and stick method grows, the writing will get neater. Discuss patterns. Can we find any forward hooks underground below the bottom of the bubbles? Are there any backward hooks above ground? And so on. Alright, here is a demonstration of how to draw bubble and stick letters. A, bubble, then short stick. B, stick, then bubble. C, bubble. D, bubble, then stick. Sorry about the writing. It's hard to do it sideways. Okay, E is a rounder bubble and a flat short stick. F is a forward hook to a stick and a cross. G is a bubble, then a down stick with a backward hook. H is a stick with a hump. I is a short stick, then a dot. J is a down stick with a backward hook, then a dot. K is a down stick, then a backward pointing arrow. L is a down stick. M is a short stick. L is a stick. M is a short stick, then a hump, then another hump. N is a short stick, then a hump. O is a bubble, then close it up. P is a down stick, then a bubble. Q is a bubble, then a down stick. R is a short stick, then a forward hook. S is a snake facing forward. T is a stick and a cross. U is an upside down hump, then a short stick. V is a downward pointing arrow. W is a downward pointing arrow, then another downward pointing arrow. X is two cross short sticks. Y is a short stick going forward and a down stick going backward. And Z is a snake going backward. And that is how you do the bubble and stick method of drawing, which keeps the shapes of the letters more fixed in your student's mind. So, why is it useful to write with the bubble and stick method? The bubble and stick method reinforces the left to rightness of reading and writing. It helps your student recognize and draw letters that otherwise might be drawn upside down or backward. The bubble and stick method uses multimodal learning to fix the shape of letters in your student's mind and the left to right progression of reading. It does it in several ways, verbally and by ear, with the words stick, then bubble, both spoken and heard. Bodily, with the muscle memory of drawing a stick, then a bubble. Visually, seeing the image of the letter as a whole. And cognitively, understanding letters as code symbols drawn with bubble and stick shapes inscribed from left to right. Both you and your students should practice bubble and stick letters in a variety of ways. Draw in the sand, with your pointer finger in the air, with a squirt gun in the dirt, etc. You can make letters with rope. You can stomp letters into the mud with your boots. You have to jump. Think of anything that you can to help make it more fun. While you're doing it, make the sound the letter tells you to make. Slow for vowels and quick for consonants. And say the stick and bubble configuration. Stiggle, sticks and bubble. While you're creating the letters. Why use different sensory modalities to make letters? Multisensory learning provides a variety of ways for your student to absorb the specific shapes of the letters that look similar. There are many ways to learn: by hearing, by looking, by movement, by feel. You want to engage all of these different ways. It makes learning more fun and more effective. Also, mix the first 3 activities of the program together. Make them into games if you can. Play with the letters. Once the sounds on the phoneme video are familiar and bubble and stick letters have been mastered, practice drawing the letters in the air with the bubble and stick method while speaking in concert with the phoneme presenter. Watch your finger drawing the letter and visualize an imaginary contrail leaving a tracing of the letter in the air. Activity 4 is the Red Rat's Book of Vowels and Consonants. Concurrently with the first 3 activities, you want to read aloud stories in the Red Rat's Book of Vowels and Consonants to introduce the logic behind letter sounds. You pre-read the stories to familiarize yourself with the content, and then start with the stories about the letter E, such as the Red Rat's report on the letter E. Run your pointer finger smoothly under every word as you pronounce it, and read each word carefully with feeling and attention. Avoid using a sing-song voice. Read the stories out loud on several occasions and talk about the stories with your student until she understands them. Do not ask your child to read. Reading must wait until your student knows the code and understands the sounds to make when she sees each letter. Do not ask your student to read anything until she knows the 10 sounds of the vowels, short and long, and has successfully played the card game. The question is, how do you know if a vowel is short or long? When a vowel is squashed between 2 consonants, as in bet, it cannot stretch way out and be long. It must stay short. That could be why the line over the vowel that indicates a long vowel is straight, where the line over a vowel that indicates a short vowel is curved. It's been squished. Long and short do not mean that vowels are said long for long vowels and short for short vowels. All vowels are said long compared to consonants. All vowels can be stretched out because they are the bridges between consonants. When sounding out words, elongate the vowel. Beat. Do not pause between phonemes. Glue them together with your voice. When E is at the end of a syllable, as in bite, it works like an engine to pull the consonant, T, away from the vowel I and give the I room to be long. Thus, an E at the end of a CVC word, which means consonant, vowel, consonant, word, indicates that the preceding vowel is long. When a second vowel stands between the first vowel and the following consonant, it pushes the consonant away from the first vowel, giving the first vowel room to be long, as in beat, B-E-A-T, and bait. Read aloud the explanatory stories in the Red Rat's Book of Vowels and Consonants. Activity 5 is the blah 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 card game. After the child knows the vowel sounds and knows the phonemes well enough to speak in concert with the video presenter, play the blah 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 game by Mrs. Wordsmith. First, you want to discard all the cards that are not actual word cards. The lose a turn, get a turn, all those, they're kind of useless. Then you play the game beginning with the simplest deck. You move on to the second deck when the child has mastered the first deck. These are some sample cards from the first deck. Sit, hop, and fog. In the game, hop and fog would match because they both have a short O sound. To get credit for each card played, first you decode the word aloud, that is, sound it out, and then you say the word and then either define it or use it in a sentence. To earn an extra turn, add an imaginary E to the consonant, vowel, consonant words and pronounce the new word that results. For example, hop with the E would become hope because the E pulls the P away from the O and gives it room to be long. Okay, now we are at activity 6, which is reading volume 1 of the Red Rat, finally. The final activity is reading. Once a child can successfully play the first deck of the blah 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 card game and is working on the second deck, the building blocks of reading have been assembled in her mind. It is time to read volume 1 of the Red Rat. The first chapter is limited to A words, and here we go. The red rat is bad, says the man. He's a bad, bad rat. He's a brat. Mostly A words. The second is limited to A and E words, the third chapter to A, E, and I words, and the fourth chapter introduces O and U words. Additionally, the third chapter introduces soft C, which is explained in the Book of Vowels and Consonants. The books are formatted to make reading easier for children with focusing challenges. Words are separated by 2 spaces instead of 1 to divide them visually. The font is bold and resembles bubble and stick writing. The pages are bordered with a black line to keep attention on the page. The pictures offer confirmation of unfamiliar words and illustrate the emotional states of the characters. The absence of quotation marks removes distraction. The repetition of he says and she says offers a resting spot. And unfamiliar words are decodable, that is, they're logical to sound out. So before you start reading, you want to introduce your student to what is coming up. This book is about a red rat. The first chapter uses mostly long A and short A. Say those sounds to me, please. When she is reading, ask the student to run her pointer finger under the words as she reads. When she comes to a word that cannot be sounded out easily, like through, be ready to help. Read aloud stories in the Book of Vowels that explain these kinds of words. Don't rush. You can go from the story directly to the Book of Vowels and back. Investigate words. For example, suppose you come to the word which and you don't know how to sound it out. You can look up the phonemes wh, wh, and ch, ch in the sound library and talk about how to decode the word by bridging the 2 phonemes with the short I. H, which. Play with the stories. Alternate reading lines with your student to model reading with expression. Read the story as if it were a play, you and the student acting out the characters. Bring the characters into everyday life by talking about what the rat might do in a situation that you experience. Make them come alive to your student. Get a stuffed rat toy or a hen, if you can find one. Stuffed rat toys aren't very popular. And involve them in the reading. Your student should read each story in a variety of ways until she is reading it confidently and smoothly. While this fluency is developing, discuss questions raised by the story. Does the man like or dislike the red rat? Why do you think so? Is the red rat a bad rat or a nice rat? Why do you think so? Is bopping off someone's hat acceptable? Look at the collateral damage. Is the man right to feel big and strong after stealing the red hat? Why do you think he felt that way? Such conversations are necessary to promote comprehension. Comprehension is the understanding that letters on paper are meaningful communication that requires critical thinking and evaluation. Later stories, for example the one about cooties, have a moral that should be discussed with the student. Reading the stories is an interactive activity with you and your student that communicates your high opinion of reading. You are the critical ingredient in all activities. You are the teacher. You must participate with goodwill and model the learning. And have fun. Enjoy the process. Put on a show. Here are some tips. Get a set of tokens, like glass gems, and reward your student with 1 token after every activity. When she accumulates 10 in a little bag, she may trade them in for a little prize of her choosing, which can be candy, in my opinion. Children really love candy. Showing irritation or impatience is lethal. Your student is doing her best to be successful. If she feels angry or defeated, she just can't think. When frustration arises, take a break or change activities. Don't move too fast. Take your time. Children need time to think. Don't rush them. Don't skip steps. It should all make sense and be comfortable before you move on. Reading is the last step. Buy the print books rather than the Kindle books. You're trying to teach your child how to read a book, not a device, and reading devices is a different process. The Volume 1 paperback costs about $12 on Amazon, as does the Book of Vowels. If you are short of money, you can buy the Kindle editions of the first several volumes for $4. The Blah 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 card games cost $30 on Amazon, but I think it's worth it. I have no connection with the company, I just like the game. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Red Rat volumes continue the basics, introducing 1 vowel combination or a regular spelling per chapter. Volumes 5 through 10 contain fables that teach school children how to interact compassionately with their schoolmates. A student should read them aloud with you after she is comfortable with the first 4 volumes. Discussion of the meaning of the stories is imperative to foster comprehension, build vocabulary, and model critical thinking. The last tip is advice is free. Ask in the comments. Here's a little about me. I'm a reading tutor and teacher with a background in the science of reading. Before I retired, I was a firefighter, a copy editor, and a science writer. I wrote the Red Rat books when I could not find decodable books that introduce letters in a logical manner and are formatted to facilitate learning to read by all children. My goal is to help children whose caregivers do not have access to expensive programs and specialized tutors. Red Rat Reader is for those who must fix the situation themselves. You can do this. So please feel free to look at the links and study this program and let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.